Hey there and welcome back to Evie's Acres. I'm Evie and today I'm going to show you some of the things that are going on right now on the homestead with the chickens a little bit, but primarily want to focus on what we're doing in the garden. So here we go. I didn't have any written plans going into this build, but my goal was to keep it as simple as possible with minimal tools and minimal cuts of wood. For this project, I used just under 6 cedar fence pickets and 1 2x4x8 pine board to create the general structure. I cut the pine into 2 pieces that were each 3 feet long and cut the remainder of the lumber in half to create 2 pieces that were each 1 foot long. I cut 2 of the cedar pickets into 2-foot lengths for the width of the raised bed and left 3 of the cedar boards uncut at 6 feet long. You'll notice that I'm creating pilot holes before adding the screws, and that's because the cedar boards are softer and thinner than the pine boards. Creating the pilot holes first helps to reduce the chance that the boards will split when I attach the screws. In my mind, I had the short pine boards in the front and the longer 2x4s in the back, along with a full-length fence picket to support the wire mesh trellis that I would staple in along the back for the vining plants to grow up. But I must have had a brain blip because I initially attached both of the shorter 2x4s to one of the shorter sides, and it wasn't until I attached the longer pieces to the other short side that I realized and corrected my mistake, which you'll see here in just a moment. Earlier that day, before I set up my workstation, I used my shovel, a rake, and a level to make sure that the area where I planned to set up the raised bed was, well, level. You can see that much of the grass was removed. At this step, I am using my quick clamps to hold 2 of the full-length cedar boards in place while I attach them to the back of the raised bed. Then I flipped it over to add 2 more cedar boards to the front of the bed. Next, I secured 1 full-length board to the top and back of the raised bed using the quick clamps. This is the board to which I will attach some wire mesh to support some of the plants that I put in the bed. Once the last board was attached, I moved the structure over to my makeshift workbench and started staining it with this Valspar exterior paint sealer in cedar tone. Cedar is a very durable wood that is less subject to rot compared to a lot of woods. I'm not a fan of the color of cedar that has been exposed to the elements for an extended period of time, which is why I chose to stain the exterior of this raised bed, strictly for aesthetics. I have to admit, I was a bit surprised by the initial burnt orange color when I first started painting it on the wood, but by the time it dried a couple of hours later, it looked a lot better. Off camera after the stain dried, I attached some 16 gauge green vinyl coated welded wire mesh that measured 2 feet high and about 6.5 feet wide to the upper back part of the raised bed using my electric stapler. Also off camera, I placed cardboard at the base of the raised bed and soaked it with water before adding a couple of bags of topsoil. Then I gathered the rest of my supplies for filling the bed, including some seeds, seedlings, my garden cushion, a draft of what I wanted to put in the bed, a square-foot gardening square, and off to the side is a wheelbarrow full of additional soil and some additives that I used to inoculate the soil. Here I am adding lots and lots of bags of topsoil. The last bag that I added is the same Fox Farm Ocean Forest potting soil that I used in the seed trays. Next, I used my gardening square to mark 1 square foot throughout the bed and sprinkled some Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster shell on top. As the shells break down, they will add calcium to the soil. As I added each plant to the bed, I also added a scoop of mycorrhizal inoculant and made sure that the roots of each plant had direct contact with it. This powdery substance adds beneficial fungi to the soil to help bring it to life. An important difference between dirt and soil is that dirt is lifeless, while soil is full of life, including lots of microorganisms that share a symbiotic relationship with the plants that grow in the soil. I included links in the description for the items I used in this video. And if you're interested in learning more about soil health or another garden-specific topic, let me know in the comments. Once everything was in place, I used my small watering can to slowly and deeply water each plant and the areas where I sowed seeds. I prefer to do waterings this way as soon as possible after transplanting seedlings or sowing seeds to ease them into their new environment, rather than potentially shocking them by spraying water from a hose. It is also nice to just take a moment to examine each plant as I'm watering them. I completed this project on June 11th, and here's a look at the plants a month later on July 11th. One reason I believe the plants are growing a little slower than expected is because they need to be fertilized, which I plan to do this weekend. Here's what's inside this bed. Some old Homestead green beans right here, Kentucky Wonder pole bean, Blauhide bean, then randomly put in a tasty green cucumber, sugar daddy pea from 2021, also from 2021, some Oregon snow peas, sugar peas. Here we have a blue barrage, or there are 2 plants there. I also have some beets right here, Chioggia beets. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I think these guys are getting a little bit sun scorched. They do have plenty of moisture, but I think there's just too much sun in this location for these guys. Anyway, here's some dill. Oh, the label got turned around. But yeah, here's a dill here, and some cilantro right there. And now these beets seem to be doing just fine. They're the golden beets. And they should be ready to harvest here relatively soon. And then here's another blue barrage. All right, so it looks like everyone came out unscathed, which is great. Funnily enough, these ladies are always out here ready for a handout as soon as I make eye contact. Whereas these guys, they're all about foraging. They're looking for their food right off the bat. They're not necessarily trying to just wait for a handout. Resourceful, dependent. Maybe that's why you're predominantly meat birds. Just saying. Pour food in there. Pour some food in there. Put some more food in here. Not quite. Watch out, ladies. I don't want to step on you. I'm just gonna have to kick you around if you get in the way. I'm just saying. Here's your water, ladies. Stay hydrated. We got Freddy over here. Scratching everything to tarnation. Well, he was just scratching before I turned the camera on him. Yeah, there he is. Well, that wasn't as bad as the last one. So in some ways, I'm really glad that the weather is what it is right now, actually, because it's not too cool, it's not too hot. It's giving them plenty of opportunity to get acclimated to their new surroundings without having to battle intense heat, which is great. I mentioned in an earlier video that I plan to build either a coop with a run or a large mobile coop that includes nesting boxes to put my mature hens and Freddy in. Once I do that, these guys will be ready to move into the larger tractor over there. And I'll be able to put the blue lace Wyandottes that I have still in the brooder. By then they should be completely feathered out and able to stay in here. So you can get this to focus. There we go. But yeah. The leghorns are especially curious about these new intruders, as I'm sure they see them as invaders of their former space, because anytime I open the top of this tractor, the smaller tractor, at least one leghorn will try to fly in to get inside and see what's going on. And all the hens have been curious at some point. But I want to say this hen in particular, she's the most curious. And I feel like she's the one that was also sitting, she would literally sit outside of the rabbits' tractor and just talked with them. Like just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. It was pretty funny. All right, guys. It's been real. Have a great day. Stay safe. Give me some eggs, except for you, Freddy. You just hold down the fort. Keep everybody safe, okay? Oh, no. Not again. Excuse me, Miss Ma'am. Where do you think you're going? Exactly, where do you think you're going? And I know you know where your home is, because look at where you're going. You know exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, how is it you can fly over the fence every time you escape, but you can't seem to figure out how to fly back over it to get inside? You need me to open it. Come on. No, you just passed me. Girl, come here. Where are you going? Come on. Go inside. Come on, go inside. Yes, you need to go inside. I'm not joking with you. Go inside. Here. Freddy, you better call your girl. chick.
Go check out part 3 of this video series to see the latest updates from this week. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks again for watching, and until next time.